Hello friends, every second week we have the SVS and it's always best if we can participate without a much risk if possible. So guys, what could be the factor that can actually help us in reducing down the risk in SVS? But before that guys, I'm pretty much sure that as of now you must have faced different servers within the SVS and many of you must have understood by now that always the big keep level does not mean that they would be having a big buff, right? So what I mean by that, suppose in the enemy server there is a K44. So it's always not necessarily mean that that K44 would be having the best in the game buff that is available at the K44 or even the good buff at the K44, right? Some of the K44 could be having the very weak buff. So guys, this video would be more focused on how exactly guys we gonna know what exactly are the buffs of our opponent. Because if prior to the SVS we can know what are the attacking buffs of our player, then guys obviously we can reduce down the risk significantly because on the basis of our defense we can decide whether this time you want to participate or not, or at what time you should participate within the server when at least that player is not active. So firstly guys, let me inform you the formula to identify the big buff player. So guys, this is the big buff formula. Higher the click rate on this particular button is equal to the more buffs, right? It is as simple as that. Many of you are already aware this is the pay to win game, and this is what we just need to know what exactly is the purchasing capacity of that particular player, and it will automatically give us the answer what kind of the buff he could be having. So how exactly we can identify his purchasing capacity? So let me show it to you guys. Before that, let me inform you the one thing. In recent SVS guys, these two were the biggest players in the enemy server. Both are the K42 player, 24 billion power player. Now guys, looking at the keep level and the power level, it must be pretty easy to assume that they must be having the heavy coining within the game or good coining within the game. But that's not necessarily true guys, because even with mid coining, if you have huge army of alts to do the farming and with good time investment within the game, it is more than possible to raise the keep level and even build the army of troops to raise the power level as well. But those best in the game buffs will simply not gonna commit like that. They need the huge price value. Now to understand who is actually spending heavy within the game, let's start from the basics guys. Usually even before the start of the SVS, what we do, we go to the general ranking and try to see the enemy generals. All the generals, all the five generals, defense general, all the attacking general, ground, caps, archer and siege general. And why we do it? To understand what kind of the general that player is using, what kind of the gear that player is using, and what kind of the refinement that player is having, so that we can know what kind of the buffs are there and what kind of attack marches he possesses. But guys, all of these things are pretty basics. Even the K39, K40 players, all are doing the same stuff. You will find the same thing pretty much even at the K39 and even at the K40 player. Those are the mid coiners. And more importantly, guys, these are not the only areas that is giving the good buffs within the game. There are many other areas as well that is delivering the huge quantity of buff, right? So how exactly we going to identify who is having the best buff within the game according to his keep level, right? So for that guys, we need to focus on two things. And what are those two things? Firstly, the flexible speciality, and another one is this side of civilization pieces. We need to check this silver star on this side of civilization pieces. Those are the supremacy pieces. Now, firstly, guys, to put the things very simple for many, if you see any player within the enemy server who is having the gold flexible speciality specific one, suppose for the ground general, ground specific one, for mounted general, mounted specific one, on the all the five general, gold one, and the silver star on maximum of these pieces, those are the supremacy pieces on all the five general. it is pretty safe to say that that player must be having the best or good buff that exists within the game according to his keep level. Now guys, let's speak about why I'm saying it so. That this flexible specialty comes within the $100 package, right? And if you want to promote any flexible specialty to gold one, you need the dozens of same flexible specialty to do it so. So now guys, you can think about how much that player needs to buy that particular package in order to promote one flexible specialty to gold one. And now guys, you think about it, the same thing you have to do it on all the five general. So what would be the total costing in order to do it so? Right? Now to even make the things more interesting, what EVONY is doing, they are putting up some low level flexible specialty in those packages so the player have to buy as many as possible. So now guys, you can have the idea how much players spending within the game. Same thing goes over here as well guys. To put this silver star on this side of civilization gear requires more costing. As I informed in one of my other video, supremacy pieces of civilization gear are more costly as compared to the conquest pieces, right? And what are the requirements to put up this silver star? You need the fragment of supremacy pieces plus meteoric stone. As you will start putting up more silver star over here guys, it will require more and more supremacy fragments guys, and that will require more costing within the game. And now guys, as these two areas are actually giving us the information how much players are actually willing to spend within the game, it is pretty safe to assume that many other areas guys that exist within the game, those are delivering the buff, they would be able to maximize those areas as well, right? Because right now we know what kind of the spending they actually doing within the game, right? So it would be pretty safe to say any player those having these two areas max, or they are in the process of maxing these two areas, they would be having the at least good buff within the game according to their keep level guys. So now guys, let's check it out. Generals of a player, those were our recent SVS opponent. As I mentioned, these two were the biggest player within the enemy server, K42 player. So let's firstly check it out, the generals of this particular player, Pumpman. So in the general ranking guys, I will try to see his all the generals. So firstly, let's start from the Caps general. I can see guys the silver star are there on the some of the conquest pieces, but no silver star are there on the supremacy pieces. Those require the more costing. Now let's check it out the flexible specialty. This is the battle tested one that comes through the SVS participation guys on the basis of the score. So this is the totally freely one. So neither the that premium flexible specialty is there nor the silver star are there on the supremacy pieces. Now let's check it out the other generals as well. Let's check it out the siege one. Again guys, I'm seeing the same trend. Silver star are there on the conquest pieces. Those are the less cost effective, but no silver star are there on the supremacy pieces where the actual costing is required. Now even this is also the battle tested one, freely available, no premium flexible specialty is there that comes from the $100 package. Now let's check it out the other generals as well. The range general, I can see silver star there on the conquest pieces, but again no silver star there on the supremacy pieces. Flexible specialty guys, again it is the battle tested one. Let's check it out the ground general guys. Even over here I can see that over the conquest pieces is able to put up this silver star, but over the supremacy pieces no silver star is there. And again, flexible specialty what he's using is the battle tested one. Now guys, you can pretty much understand what kind of the spending this player is doing within the game, because no premium flexible specialty is there, no silver star are there on the supremacy pieces. So it is pretty safe for you to assume that the same trend would be going into the other areas as well that exist within the game from where good quantity of buffs are there. This player would be unable to maximize even those areas as well, because again, to maximize those areas will definitely going to require the heavy costing or good costing for sure. Now guys, let's check it out the other big player of enemy server, right? Let's start from the attacking general. Let's check it out with this particular general, guys. I can see the flexible specialities. They are premium one, dedicated one for the siege. It's not the pure gold, but it's nearby. I can see the some of the silver star is also there. Not all, but player is in the process, guys. Right now, let's check it out. The more general, ground general, guys. Conquest piece is fully done, but over the supremacy pieces I can see player is in the process. He is spending, might not be the heavy or good coiner, but he is spending decently within the game. Let's check it out, the flexible specialty, guys. He's actually able to get the specific flexible specialty for ground. It is not the gold one, but player is in the process and having the capacity to buy the those $100 packages as well. Right now, let's check it out the other general as well. Again, here we can see even over the supremacy piece, he's able to put up the silver star and he's able to put up the that premium flexible specialty as well, and that is the fully gold one, right? So through this way, guys, we can see that the player is having the capacity. So still, if he is unable to maximize all of these areas, but it would be pretty safe to say, guys, he would be having at least the decent buff according to his level, if not the good or the best buff. So guys, that's how you can pretty much identify what kind of the buffs player could be having whenever you are facing any server, just by checking their generals, mainly the flexible specialty, those premium flexible specialty, and the silver star on those supremacy pieces, right? So that's how, guys, we can identify whatever the server we are facing and whatever their big players are, so what kind of the buff we can expect from those big players, right? And guys, let me clearly specify, even weakly buffed K44 is not a level from which many of you can take a hit. Either you should have at least some decent defense stats if you are there at K39, K40, or you should be the T1 defense holder with good number of T1s and with full flat refine. And apart from it, guys, in the end, we can only do our best to identify opponent buffs on the basis of whatever the limited information we can see prior to the SVS, right? And 90 to 95% of the time, guys, we can proceed with this particular logic, but again, exceptions also exist, right? Now, guys, let me speak about the ghosting part as well, because I see some changes within the EVONY and this seems to be critical information. Suppose, guys, you're facing any server where alliances are there, those are pretty good in doing the rallies and even the quick rallies, and you are the one of those player who is having the need to go at least 3 or 4 marches whenever you are moving to the enemy server, right? So right now, guys, let me show it to you one thing. Suppose, guys, right now I am ghosting. So what is the process of canceling the ghosting right now? Firstly, you will click over here, then you will click over here, and then you have to confirm to release the ghosting, right? So right now it is the three-step process, guys. Previously it was only the two-step process. So if you have the 3 or 4 marches ghosted, then most potentially if someone is trying the quick rally on you, you might not able to dodge that particular rally. So guys, now you have to remember while moving to the enemy server that how much you actually need to ghost, because you will not be able to dodge the any quick rally. So yep, guys, I think this is it for this particular video, and thank you, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video, and bye bye for now.